Kim Iversen meltdown over Chinese New Year. This is your favorite half Chinese. So she is saying, technically it's the lunisolar agricultural New Year. That's a mouthful. It's simple to just shorten it to Lunar New Year. Well, Kim Iversen is a whole mouthful. Just let's call you Harry. Does that make any sense to you? By the way, this is your favorite half Chinese. This is the time to click that like button. It is such a ridiculous and ludicrous theory of people who are trying to erase Chinese culture. Now, I'm not saying that she is. I think she is just pulled into it. But things like this are deliberately put in the world to erase Chinese culture. Why would you call it Lunar New Year if Lunar New Year is something totally different? It's a different New Year. It's probably what the Muslims are celebrating, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you're going to call it Lunar New Year, then what are the Muslims practicing? What is their New Year? What date is their New Year? It's not the same New Year as us. The date is totally different. So why would you call it that? Why don't you call New Year Christmas? Or why don't you call Eastern Christmas? Why don't you call Christmas L8 Fitr? Because they're all separate, different holidays, Harry. That is why. That's what humans do. We agree upon a name that we impute on an object, in this case, the holiday. Why we do that? So we can discern different objects from each other, in this case, the holidays. Because if we would call it Lunar New Year, how confusing would it be for the Muslims, for example? They would be like, oh, when is Ramadan? It will be so many days from the New Year. From Lunar New Year, right? Well, we are celebrating 17 February Lunar New Year, lunisolar New Year. So that would mean that the Muslims would not be fasting now and would be doing something which they should not be doing against their religion. That is why, Harry, we decided not to have the same name, because it's utterly confusing for many, many people. As the Chinese might be celebrating all of a sudden their New Year on the day that the Muslims are celebrating their New Year, because it's all in the same name. That is why we also have colors like red, blue, green, because if we would call everything red, oh honey, what color do you like on this dress? Red or blue? Red or red, I should say. You see, red or red? What do you mean, red or red? Well, this one is red and this one is red, and then it's red and blue. Harry, do you understand me now why we use correct terms and why you should not use the term lunar? It is not Lunar New Year. Be respectful, do not culturally appropriate, and be mindful of what is going on in the world. You are in geopolitics. You are a political commentator just as me. You should be aware of these things that are happening. You should not be participating in them. Anyway, let me know what you all think of this, but let's just look at a couple of other here. This one is all Asians hate the Chinese. Your frustrations are not a valid excuse for posting foul, disgusting, racist crap like this. And I must agree with that. Here, Kim says, public service announcement, we don't enter into the new year of the horse until February 17. If you have a baby between now and then, they will be a snake. In fact, anyone born in January or February needs to check the date of Chinese New Year for their animal signs. Don't base it off the placement at a Chinese restaurant. Chinese New Year. She had no problem with it before. So rightfully this person asked, what changed, Kim? What triggered you to start this xenophobia? And it is xenophobia what you were spewing. So anyway, she just goes on with watching a bunch of Chinese get their panties in a wet over word accuracy while they call it Spring Festival, even though it's in the middle of winter. Don't you dare call it Lunar New Year when it's based on the lunisolar calendar, you xenophobic goyslop. Well, it seems to me, in the way that you are talking and the way that you are framing your sentences, that you are xenophobic. I'm not saying that you are, but it looks like it, the way that you are speaking. And if you're not, maybe you can say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I don't know what got into me. I had a busy day and all these things came together and, I just lost it. It's not that hard. Sorry, I must have come off really, really xenophobic. I understand now. My apologies. But no, she was just doubling down. I'm not going to read the entire because nobody wants to read that. If you want to, then you can just go over there. It's just really, really weird. This person, another person says, you're still digging with that racist, stinky attitude of yours. And that's what you're going to get. You're the flipping one trying to gaslight people into discrediting where and what Chinese New Year is. Other countries wouldn't even know when to celebrate it unless China determines when the dates are, you silly, silly ignoramus. And that's true, because Chinese New Year, as this person correctly shows, comes from a Purple Mountain Observatory. The official date is determined by scientific agencies with the Purple Mountain Observatory in Nanjing being a primary source for the calculations. Without China, it could not be counted. So please be respectful. Kim, or Harry, I should say, you know that we're constantly under fire, right? Why would you join their club? Why don't you be like, oh yeah, let's just call it Chinese New Year because it is Chinese New Year. That's what we call it in the West. My friend, you can also call it Spring Festival. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. You were wrong and you will stay wrong, no matter how many posts you make. It will not change the fact that you were wrong and you were making very racist remarks. I hope you will reflect on what you've done wrong. And if not, then I guess you will lose a lot of Chinese supporters. Anyway, let me know what you all think of this in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. We're not uncivilized barbarians, unlike some others. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. And as always, have a great day. Your favorite half Chinese.